Blog Talk Radio.
All right, Marcus.
To Open Talk with Les Jakson right here on blogtalkradio.com. Like always, we want to sit back and say happy birthday to all of our friends on Facebook, Twitter, blogtalkradio.com. Stumble upon Get Glued. Wherever you are, we're getting at you right now, that's for sure. Everybody is in the bullpen. Everybody's warming up and waiting. I'm going to sit back first tonight. I'm going to bring Ron Lutze on. But before I bring Ron on, I do want to send a special happy birthday out to Onika Brown, one of my Facebook partners and friends. She was on the show in the past, and so today was her birthday. I want to wish her a happy birthday. I'm going to come right in here with Ron Lutze. Ron Lutze is a comedian. Me and him have worked together here in Detroit, put on a couple of shows together. We performed at Gibson's Lounge. We performed at Club Bart. Just you name it, we did it. Come on in here, Ron. How are you?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Les?
Good. Ron, what have you been doing? I know you're getting ready to do a show tonight. You are on your way to do a show.
I've been staying busy. I'm on my way right now.
Where are you going to be performing tonight?
I'm going to be in Fenton, Michigan tonight. It's in the middle of nowhere. So,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you real quick, Ron, because I know you got to get out of here. What made you decide to get into comedy?
You know, man, I'm not really exactly sure. I mean, I've always been a class clown, so to speak, and I just kind of figured that maybe I'll give it a try. And it was either that or sell drugs and work in a factory for the rest of my life, so I figured I'd give comedy a try, and it's worked out so good so far. So.
That sounds good because, like I said, me and you have done a couple of venues together, and
yes, we have.
we
I
always
remember
connect.
those shows.
Yeah, we've done quite a few, of course. I have gotten more into the radio now, and I don't get out and do a whole bunch of comedy, but I'm still out there. You know, I'm still kind of finding new talent, and people are still asking me, when are you coming back? And I tell them, I don't know. You know, do you ever find yourself, and I'm going to ask you this first, do you ever find yourself where you get into like a slump or you say, I should just give it up?
Oh, just about every day. Pretty much, yeah. You know, comedy has a lot to do with, you know, you get on the self-deprecation, hating yourself, and why the hell am I doing this? I should have went to college. And, you know, that runs through my head about every other day or so. But, you know, no regrets, you know.
There you go. Well, Ron, I just want to sit back and, you know, I wanted to definitely give you some shout-out, want to show you some love. I've got Randy Scott on the phone. I know he's got something that he's going to be doing a little later on, and so I want to give him time to warm up, and I want to bring him in right now. So let you get out of here and get ready for tonight, man. As they say, go out there and break a leg, all that good stuff, and knock them dead, man.
All right, thank you, Les. I appreciate you having me on, man, and all the luck in the world to you, brother. You have a good one, okay?
Thank you, brother. A lot of love, man.
All right. God bless, man.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. My next guest, we know him. He is world-renowned. He's been in the business for, wow, I think the first album that he made came out in 1994. It was under R&R Records. It was entitled Randy Scott. I want to bring on right now for everybody Randy Scott. How are you this evening, Randy?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Les.
Good, good. Randy, I was sitting back, and I was really impressed because the first time I met you, and we met several years ago at the jazz concert that you and Tim Bowman did out in Southfield at the Church Jazz Festival that they give every year.
Right, Jazz
and
on the
I'll
Grass.
never forget that because I was so impressed with your saxophone playing.
Well, thank you.
But you play more than sax, correct?
Yeah, I actually have a degree in music education, which requires me to learn all of the instruments. Now, I don't play them all well, but I do play them well enough to be able to teach them. But my main instrument, of course, is saxophone, and my secondary instrument is piano and keys. So I think I make more money playing keyboards than I do saxophone, even though I'm a saxophone player. This in terms of producing records, that kind of thing.
There you go. Randy, let me just read some of the stuff here that I've been sitting back. Here's the solo recordings. Like I said, in 1994, you did Randy Scott. In 1999, you came back with The Future. In 2002, it was Words Unspoken. Then in 2007, it was Breath. And, of course, the one that's out there and still been going good since 2011 is the 90 Degrees at Midnight.
Correct.
And so, then I'm looking at the people that you have produced. I mean, it's just phenomenal. You've got Linda Boston, Terrence Palmer up front. Of course, Tim Bowman. And then you're a teacher too, aren't you?
Yeah. I keep saying every year is my last year, but I've been teaching now for a long time, very long time.
How do you find the energy to keep all this stuff going, man?
Honestly, I don't even know. I think it's lack of sleep. But I really enjoy teaching. I tried to leave about 6 years ago, and because my professional career started to take off, and I had just gotten so attached to the kids. I told the principal, I told the students, found out through the grapevine, and it just was really sad, so sad that I couldn't leave. And, to me, teaching has been my way of ministering without preaching. We're not supposed to really talk about religion in school, but I'm able to kind of lead by example, show them what it means to be a professional, mature black man in America today without doing anything crazy, without playing sports, and really without music, without, being a professional musician. I'm able to show them that. For example, every day I got students every week I have students tell me, why do you wear a suit to school every day? And the reason is because, again, I want them to see what it is to be a professional in America today without having to do the things that some people do. So, it's been a blessing to me to be able to be an example to them. And I feel like God has me right where he wants me. But at the same time, I do have this dream, that I've been harvesting since the 4th grade of being a professional musician and record producer. And, he's blessed me with that ability as well, and to be able to support my family doing that. So I'm really grateful.
There you go, because I was listening to the YouTube excerpt and song that you and Tim Bowman did over at the Jazz Festival in 2010 over in Dubai.
Yeah,
and it's been really good to you, I see.
Yeah, it has. The whole story with that situation is I had produced quite a few songs on one of Tim's records, and it went #1. Caught the attention of the label he was on, which is Trippin' and Rhythm Records. They're a Sony distributed label based in London, and they decided to start this big jazz concert series in the Middle East over in Dubai. And they asked me, after hearing the work I had done on Tim's record, they asked me to go and perform there. And I had my own night set aside. So Dubai radio had been playing my material for about a year. So people were very familiar with my stuff. I went over there. There were about, 3,000 to 5,000 people outside at this big festival. And I had my own night. It was a Saturday night. Tim had his own night. And it was just really nice. And right after that show, they offered me a record deal. And, I've had deals throughout my career except for that first record, which was done on my own. But they have actually become the most successful jazz label in the world, according to Billboard. So it was just quite an opportunity. And again, it was a blessing because just before that, I had finished my record, and right at that time, Detroit's jazz station, V98.7, had gone under. So I'm thinking, what in the world is going to happen with my career, because this jazz label, as well as some others around the country, are going under. I prayed about it, and out came this trip to Dubai and this big record deal with probably the biggest label around for what I do. And, it's just, again, it was just a real blessing that I'm grateful for.
There you go. I was sitting back, I was looking at something that I had never noticed this. And I'm going to ask you, how did it feel, because you played at a venue for President George W. Bush?
Oh, yeah. That was nice.
I mean, I was just sitting there, I was looking,
funny.
It was really fascinated me to...
You know what's funny? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. How did all that come about?
I can't to be honest, I can't remember how it came about. I know I did something for Bill Clinton when he was in office, and then I had got a call from it was crazy. I got a call from the White House to do something for George W. Bush. And what was funny about it is I didn't have a script. There was really no script as to when I was supposed to play. I think I did the national anthem or something. Mm-hmm. So there was no real script. I had no idea exactly when I was going to play. I thought that I had enough time to use the restroom. So I go to the restroom, and as I am in the restroom, I hear them announcing me to play. And I'm like, oh, man. So I'm running. I'm literally running, and it was that part of it was hilarious. But it was just one of them things. It was real fun. It was real different because of all the security. And normally when I play, I'm using a wireless mic. But the security's so tough that they ban all of that. I didn't get to use any of that at this particular time. So, but it was really a great experience. I appreciated it.
Wow. I can imagine it was. Like I said, let me ask you this, because I'm getting ready to bring in the president, and he's the president of Hollywood Industries.
Mm-hmm.
He is he does films all over. He's based in California.
Nice.
And I'm going to ask you, have you ever thought about going into the film industry? As far as
I've always wanted to do that, and I've had a couple of very small opportunities, but it was enough to get my feet wet in it. And a lot of people don't know this, even though I'm a jazz musician, my forte, my scholarship from Michigan State was in classical music, so I have a lot of experience with arranging and all that kind of thing. It's orchestration and that kind of thing. So I have done some really small movie scores. Had a real big one that was supposed to happen and just kind of fell through. But I would absolutely love to get into that part of it. It's a completely different side to the music business, but I would love to do more of that for sure.
There you go. Before Bill, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Bill, before I bring you in, and hold on for 1 second, let me see if Ebony from London wants to say anything. Good evening, Ebony. How are you?
I'm okay. Hi.
Good. I know it's getting late over there in London.
Yeah.
We have Randy Scott. Did you have a question for Randy, or?
No, I didn't really, but I only really just popped on. So I'm listening from my phone, so I haven't had a chance to listen to much of what you're saying, Randy. But you said you're a jazz musician, right?
Yes, I am.
Have you been to London? Have you come to the UK before?
I'm looking to go very soon, again, because the label that I'm on is based there.
Okay.
But I have not been yet.
Oh, okay. So you need to come over.
I really want to.
Yeah, jazz is quite popular in the UK. It isn't like mass market, because I think it tends to be one of those genres kind of sidelined a bit.
Right.
For other things, I think, like, pop and other stuff. But it still has a big market here, and people like to listen to it. I don't know if you've heard of the Jazz Cafe. That's very popular here.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so that's a place to play if you come to the UK.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, but I'll listen in, but I look forward to you coming over.
Well, thank you. Please look out for me, for sure.
I will do. Okay.
Okay. Randy, thank you so much. I told you I wouldn't hold you but about 15 minutes, because I know you got to get out of here, right?
No problem at all.
Do your thing. Huh?
No problem at all. I just really appreciate you having me.
There you go. Well, Randy, I want to thank you so much for coming on and being with us tonight, because, like I said, I'm going to play some of your music here in a little while.
Okay.
Because I want people to really hear the beauty of it, because you do justice to the sax.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just phenomenal guy all the way around the board. Because, like I say, I never will forget the warm reception that I got from you at that venue. And like I say, I was just a person that was there with a person.
Sure.
And, I mean, you and Tim Bowman really sat back and treated us real good, because we sat right there with you guys and were able to talk a little bit. And I think at that time I was getting ready to do a comedy gig.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was telling you guys I was getting ready to go on tour doing this comedy gig, and I sat back and we were preparing for that, but I had to come out and hear me some jazz, because we had missed JZZ. Smooth Jazz was still going, but it was on its way out.
Right.
And it's a shame. Let me ask you before you go, because I do want to ask you this, because a lot of jazz venues and things have been closed down here. They don't make it. Is there something different about what we do here in Motown?
Mm-hmm.
Are we kind of like drifting out of the traditional jazz and things of that nature?
I don't really think it has much to do with the people. I mean, because there's still a market for it here. Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the business. I think my personal thoughts about why the stations, not only here in Detroit but all around the country, have gone under as far as smooth jazz goes, and this is my personal thoughts, it's because it's become so watered down that almost every song sounds alike. And I think people are more intelligent than that, and they're more sophisticated listeners than that, and they want more than just hearing the same kind of song every time something is played. So as a result, people hadn't supported the stations as much as when they first started. Their listenership went down, so does the dollars coming in. So that's my personal reason or opinion as to why they kind of went out of business. But I don't think it has anything to do with Detroiters per se. I think I know for a fact that Detroit has some of the absolute best musicians in the world, and the proof and evidence of that is if you look at any R&B or hip hop group, I'm talking about national act, whether it's Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, Neo, Charlie Wilson, across the board, those musicians are from here. They are all, most of them are from here. In every name I just named, there are Detroit musicians that are in those bands. So, we have some of the best musicians here, as well as some of the best listeners. So I don't think it has anything to do with the people. It's all about the business.
There you go, because, now, see, I'm a keyboardist. I write. We're going to have to get together, man, and collaborate. I would love to collaborate on something with you.
That would be great.
And maybe in the future we can get together and throw something together, man, even if it's just having a jam session over at the Dirty Dog over there in Grosse Pointe. But I would love to sit back, man, and perform with you real soon.
Sounds good. Sounds
great. Hey, thanks so much, Randy, for being on the show, man. I'm not going to hold you any longer than what I said I would. And have a blessed night. Kiss the kids for me, man. Tell everybody I said hello. And I'll be looking for that next one, man, that next album.
Sounds good. Working on it right now.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Randy.
All right. Take care now.
All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Mckinney.
Yes, how you doing, Les?
Come on, man. Talk to me. Tell me a little bit about the film industry and what's going on, man. Tell me a little bit about how you got off in the film.
Well, actually, it's funny that I was listening to Randy, and I know he was on the jazz station. Actually, my great-grandfather, Clarence Ringo, built the towers for WCHB, WJZZ, and then Terry Arnold was the CEO of that. And it just kind of brought back memories when he said, before they went and changed over to Radio 1. But basically, I was raised in a family of entertainment. My father, he was a music producer. Uncle was a music management. And I always been around the industry when I was young, even though I dibble and dabble in different other things. But I started the film industry in 2000. Actually, I was hanging out with Brandon T. Jakson before he left to go to California to actually, pursue his career. I was actually around him around 2004. Came when he did a movie, Road Bounce. I went to California 2007, and then we had a meeting with, some big studios and one of the major talent agencies, CAA, and it kind of like got me activated in 2007 from there because I had a big pep talk with Brandon T. Jakson management, and he kind of gave me a heads up of where he think he see what, because I was always a person who had a gift of connecting the dots and making things happen, putting things together, and he basically opened my eyes to the movie side of the business instead of the music side of the business. Okay.
And so, what you been working on, man? I know. The last time I think me and you talked, you were working on something. You were working on a film. Is it complete, or are you about ready to release it? Or
actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, the last time I talked to you, we did the movie Corner Store in Detroit.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and I did about 8 films. 2014 got at least 3 of them that's going to be released through the DVD circuit, Redbox, Walmart, Netflix. Right now, I'm currently I created this industry called Hollywood industry. Basically, just a culture like saying Bollywood and Hollywood. We're creating a mainstream faith-based industry, so we can actually get some of the, the actors and actresses and people who don't want to, basically jeopardize the integrity of their faith for the arts. We create an industry for that so they can make wholesome movies and good movies. So right now we have a movie called Thieves on the Cross that we're in a pre-production with. We are right now in negotiation with a couple of known actors here in California. We set for principal photography for March, but yeah, it's going to be a big movie for us. One of my big ones that's going to hit the theaters.
Wow. Let me ask you this, because I know that when I talked with you, I was telling you my niece at that time was going to Henry Ford Community College. She had just started her acting career, and she's gotten a few plays up under her belt, and she's graduated, and she has all these managerial skills and all this stuff pertaining to the film industry. What would you tell people that are wanting to break into the acting business?
Well, I know Detroit is it's a hub for a lot of production that's coming in, and I know they don't have a solid talent agency there, because you want to make sure you get an agent, because an agent will keep you working. But I tell everybody, you know what, to be honest with you, California is a mother house, and we can't get past that. We will have to actually come and visit the mother house and then bring back the business, and that's what you have to do when it comes to being a strong actress, especially if you want to get out in the big game. You got Atlanta, you deal with Tyler Perry and people like Autumn Bailey down in Atlanta, or you could come to California. And I tell you, it's so many Detroiters up here, and they stay working. I know some couple people that's work. They get a job every week. If they're not on the movie set, they on somebody else's set. They get jobs here. And all you got to do is just hook up with the central casting agency and come up here and make it work. There's enough room for everybody.
There you go. Now, do you do any recruiting or do you represent any actors yourself?
Well, people come to me because I do a lot of power brokering and entertainment consulting. They come to me just to get their career jump started, and I done help a lot of people, a lot of production companies get started. I help a pastor out of Cincinnati. He's in the movie business now. I help a couple of actors. And when it comes to actresses right now, I'm getting ready to start putting together a roster of actresses. And I got one lady that's there in Detroit. I'm getting ready to bring her up here so she can get her feet wet in the game. So, yeah, I do help people get connected, because I'm kind of like, a lot of these guys now are my friends, like a CAA. I got a good friend at CAA. I got a good friend at William Morrison. And I know a lot of casting directors. So it's like it's nothing for me to get you a job on the set.
Sounds great. Let me ask you this, because this is something that's been just bothering me for the last 5 or 6 years, man. What's up with all of these remakes of films that seem like they were just out? I mean, they're not even letting films, it seems like, anymore even become, classics before they're rewriting them.
Hollywood is kind of, they're running out of ideas, to be honest with you. They fear the new, so they feel like if they do a remake, it'll be a success because they made money off of it, just like in the music. Sometimes people make remakes and they get a hit off a remake, even though the music industry is changing over to UK style of music. But the movie industry is basically right behind them, and they're doing a lot of remakes because they feel like they can make the most money bringing back memories. So that's what they're doing. They do have some good – this is a time right now in the film industry where black cinema and faith-based films are starting. You're going to see a lot of those happening in 2014. It's going to be real strong. I mean, we just had 12 Years of a Slave. That hit real strong. The Butler hit real strong. We got faith-based films like actually, The Butler was a faith-based film. There's going to be a lot of that you're going to see in 2014, and it's basically going to be an independent boom where a lot of people who actually going to take, they're going to do their own movies and put themselves in the mainstream arena, because right now the Hollywood they burning cash and not getting it back, and they can't figure it out. Just like Courageous in the faith-based films, they put only $2 million in that movie, but they yielded about $33 million in the theaters. So the new game now is basically shoot low and score high, and why Hollywood's shooting real high and trying to hope that they're gonna make a break even. So right now I just tell the independents it's a good time for them.
And something else that I want you to kind of go through, because a lot of people just think it's just actor, actress, director, and producer. But there are a lot of other jobs that one can actually get into and that are involved in making a film. I know I've been in a couple. I was just a sound man holding the boom and running behind the actors. I did some videography, all kinds of things I've been getting into. I have even acted in a couple of little small films that did it in a couple of film festivals. And they went off great. I've had fun, but there are so many other jobs that are out there, so many other opportunities. What are some of the other things, the other areas that people can actually go into and still make a decent living doing them?
Well, out here in California, they say it's 5 jobs. That means, you don't have to be set up for one thing. You can do whatever you want and still, make it big and make money. Other jobs is like location management. If you're good at finding locations and orchestrating the deals between the movie production and the location, whether it's a restaurant, a house, you can make money like that. I know a guy. He happened to be in Michigan. They always call him when Hollywood come in. He makes about $5,000 a week doing that. Just location management. You got things like being a security. You can just be a security and watch the set, watch everything on the set. You have production assistants that you can if you don't know nothing about the movie industry, you could come in and learn as you go. So they call them production assistants, and you can surrender your resume or look on Craigslist and find out what productions out there, and then you let them know that, hey, you got any PA assistants, you can make money off that. Some of those PAs make anywhere between $100 to $500 a day. So it's like so many different areas, even the caterers, catering the movie, because a movie set it's a big one movie is a corporation. That's what you got to look at when you look at a movie. It's a corporation. It have a lot of people involved in that to make that one movie a success. And when you look at movies, you'll see the end credits. It takes about at least a minute or two to go through all the credits. That's because there's a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, and some seem like they're a lot longer than that now.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah, because there's so many different areas that you can actually participate in. Makeup, hair. You got, like you said, the boom mic, the people to hold the lights, the grips. So, it's so many different areas. You could be a wardrobe consultant, a person to help make sure that, they take notes. And let's just say you happen to be on a movie set and somebody used their right hand, but then they had to do a scene again, and then they end up using their right, but they had to correct them because you're a script supervisor. So you got so many different facets of being on that set and make money, and you don't have to worry about being famous doing it, but you can make money doing it and be a part of the industry, and you'll be more valuable to a movie set being one of those different functions of making a movie than you are being a producer, because everybody want to be a producer, everybody want to be a director. That's the high end. But if you can be a set worker, set dresser, set dressing, help set the atmosphere, make it look good for the visual of that scene. Wardrobe. These you can make yourself available for, so you don't have to actually be the producer, or director, or actor, or actress. You can still make money in this business, and there's so much you can do, and it's a lot of money can be made too.
Wow. Do you have time to hold on for a minute?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to bring in Sulaiman The WordSmith. He's right here, based in Detroit. Sulaiman, good evening. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Brother Jakson.
Good afternoon. Come on, tell me a little bit about what you do. Tell us how you do it, and I'm going to play a cut that you did, that you sent to me. I'm going to play it in just a second, but tell us a little brief bio on you.
Well, I had this dream, and it's actually kind of like a remix of a dream that I had when I was a child that did not do anything with. The dream was that I would go into the music industry, and the reason for that was that I have a slight speech impairment, and I wanted to work on my diction, my ability to project my voice, everything related to voice. So once this notion hit me that it was something that I should have done years ago, but now was the time to do it, I expressed that to a relative who had a friend who is a vocal coach. So I started taking voice lessons, piano lessons, and started working on my own music. And that was about 7 years ago, and here I am today with a music release. It's called The Day. It's a hip-hop with a little bit of poetry twist to it. And so it's a great song, great reviews, and it's been a journey, and that's what music really is. It's a journey, and on that journey you learn about yourself, you learn about your strength, your character. You define those aspects of you, and it comes out in the music itself. And that's what drives you to keep on going through the ups and downs of the music industry, or actually any other industry that a person could be in. And it's it's that perseverance that people want to hear in the voice. And so that's my journey, in short and brief.
Okay. And you know what? Before I bring on, because I'm going to play the day right now, and let me bring Brown Beasley. I'm going to bring him in. Brown Beasley, good evening. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm spectacular, but I'm improving. No, I was actually...
Okay. You had a question. I'm going to let you ask the question.
I didn't have a question, Les.
Okay.
I can make a short statement, though.
Okay.
No, you actually have interesting guests on your show. You know, usually I call to participate. I'm a jazz aficionado myself. My grandfather was a jazz. I've listened to jazz. It's been around, and since I was a kid, from Billie Holiday to Duke Ellington to Miles Davis to Kenny Barron. I can go on and on and on and on. I actually have a relative who's an accomplished jazz musician and has been all of his life. Also, I like listening to the young man that's out here in California trying to make it in the movie business. He sounds excited and upbeat, and that's as I just said in the chat room, that's a pretty tough business to make it in. So I wish him well. I wish him well.
There you go, Bill.
Yes, I'm here.
Come on back in here real quick. Now, like I said, let me tell you a little bit about the credits that Bill has. He's the founder and film minister of Hollywood Industries. He's the film producer of Global Picture Studio. And then there was one more that's on your bio, and I didn't jot that one down. Which one is that I missed out on?
It's the Hollywood Industry, but the other one that you're seeing was Bill H. Mckinney Entertainment.
Yeah,
that's my consulting firm. I do a lot of power brokering for people.
What are some of the things that you've done or participated in? What kind of project have you participated in?
Well, I've done 8 movies. One of them we did like an independent run on the theaters. It's getting ready to come out with Lionsgate, coming up in 2014 February. I got another film.
A feature film.
Yes, right, feature film.
What's the name of it? Plug it.
Oh, that's Corner Store. That's coming out. I got another one called More Money, More Family. I did it with Silka Shocker of No Limits Records. I produced that. We just got through finishing. I got a release date coming out in January in Redbox with it. Right now, I'm one of the executive assistants for Silka Shocker No Limit, and I also do power brokering for the X-Clan, Chuck D, KRS-One on a new documentary that we're getting ready to produce called True School.
You sound kind of young to even know who they are. I'm a man of a certain age. Those guys were relevant, more than 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Yeah. I got a nice little age on me, I've been around the block. I know. I grew up with these guys, and they were some of the guys that I kind of I was inspired by when I was growing up, and I never knew that I'll be the person managing a second wind, So
no, those documentaries, though, with the older guys from hip hop, they're usually pretty compelling. They're usually pretty good. I saw the one Ice-T made, The Art of Rap, where he interviews a lot of the older school guys and their stories and their struggles, and that's good material. All you do is got to turn the camera on and let those guys talk.
Yep, that's right. We're in the midst of doing that. We got a good strong lineup. You got KRS-One, Brother J of S-Clan. We got Chuck D, Big Daddy Kane, Kool Moe Dee, Sir Jinx. We got a good strong lineup for this project right now.
Where are you located? Southern California or Detroit?
Yes, I'm in Southern California.
Okay, I'm a native.
Okay,
gentlemen, if I can get both of you to hold. Mr. The WordSmith, here you come. I'm getting ready to play the song The Day. So if you can stand by, everybody sit back and enjoy this one. This is Sulaiman The WordSmith. The record is called The Day, and we're going to crank it up right about now. Let me make sure it's keyed in and cued.
For those conscious brothers out there, I got something for you. For them baby conceiving nights. Boy, oh boy, do I get something for you. Only one rhyme, keep up the faith, 'cause sometimes life's like you've been hit by a hurricane. Heavy rain, come wash away the pain. When twilight time came, let me know I'm living for the day. And they know police impounding, harassing, no smoking gun, nobody killing the fellow man. Yeah, 'cause we're smooth MCs with more rhymes that fit the mold of a 9 to 5. The way we breathe in the third eye when we rhyme real fast, breaking all kinds of rules. Otherwise, we slow it down as we sing together. MCs forever, living for the day. We ain't no male and female hating, just love and baby making. That'll be the day you won't have to say exclusively, the baby's yours and mine. I recollect when we was locked up in the moment of time. Love us going places together, and if we should ever have new departure, I'll cherish you with memories that last forever. Remembers the day we MC to one another. Loving the day she's in your mind. Your love is for me, 'cause love is the essence of your mind. That's the day everybody knows, and the way we touch each other's souls. The styles we got, so divine. I shows up at Black Tie Affairs. Not about the politics, nonetheless, I'ma revolutionize it. Rap out the black revolutionary. Never worry about the mystery. Reducing my cheddar. The chips of knowledge, that's how we get better. Mind for the day, memorize knowledge. Never forget about the mistakes of yesterday. Hot damn, baby, I'm telling it like it is. 'Cause you know, we went from kings and queens traveling 7 seas to picking cotton, Nat Turner fighting, civil protesting, TV revolutionizing. On the day, they said there was the prophecies. IMC a rhythm mentality for brothers fighting back. That's candidacy for the presidency. As we blow right past the day of race elimination, MCs with the lyrics for the inspiration. Build the foundation for the next 7 generations. It's a manifestation of destiny, made without the Hennessy. Nobody claims you're talking fantasy. As we travel the world with a freestyle that's guaranteed to unite the nations. That'll be the day you never worry when you look over your shoulder. Everybody's got honor, a hemisphere, but we no longer fear supremacy. It's sayonara to the order of secrecy. You know, to escalate your mind to a higher order. Bring no monetary consideration. On the day, trumpets the mountains to marbles. When many shonder as they ponder. Is it stabbing at me by the forelocks? Knocking me beyond yonder. That'll be the day.
I like that. I like the beat on that. I'm going to bring everybody back in here right now. And let me ask you something. And I'm just going to say the WordSmith because, man, that was smooth. Did you, you wrote that whole thing. And let me ask you, because it sounds almost like it's not really rap, but yet it's like a poetry rap. How would you consider that? How would you say, or how would you
spoken word? That's spoken word.
That's the spoken word.
That's what they call that. Sorry to interrupt. I just had to show off that I knew that.
That's all right, bro.
My bad. I'm like that sometimes.
Thank you very much for the compliment. Wow, how did I write that? That was probably about 3 years ago when I actually wrote that the first time. And it was really just me sitting down and pulling out of my brain, the creative thought process. And at that time, I wanted to do something that was expressive of political thought, love, and expression, and to put it all together in one, smooth, almost one breath, was really just a matter of me just, sitting down with a pencil and a paper, and that's usually where it always begins, and writing down the thoughts that come out of my head, and just making the wording connect and searching for the right word and taking my time on it and really just, putting my effort into it. So I did that about 2 or 3 years ago, and I recorded it. And I had to do everything when I first recorded it. I had to be the engineer, the writer, finance the beat, everything. And by the way, the beat is by a guy named Coon Juice. Very creative name. And so I did everything on that first track. And, of course, when it's your first time, you make mistakes. So I almost scrapped that project, but I kept with it instead. And I re-recorded it about 6 months ago. And this time, much more experienced and did a lot better job with the engineering and so forth. And released it, and it's been heard worldwide, and now even more so, thanks to Lutze Jakson. So it's really it's a process of thought, and just putting everything together in all in one rhyme, as we say,
There you go.
That's how
I like that. I like that.
Thank you very much.
Because, like I said, that beat is really what grabbed me. And then the words, I sat back and I really listened to the words of it. And I said, this brother's really, he laying it down. He putting down some real truth. And I like it because it was just, that's inspiring, man. We need more artists. Let me ask you, because what are some of the venues you've done? Where do you perform at? Because I know you perform all over the place. Tell us about some of the venues you do.
Well, I've lived in Detroit and New York. I've done the Detroit scene. I've done a lot of local venues, done some projects, plays, and so forth. The Artist Village, they say, just so many places. I'd have to actually look on my website and just look at all the different places I performed at. I've been at venues in New York. I'm trying to remember the name of this venue. It's got a very unique name to it. New Weekend Poetry Cafe, something like that.
Yeah.
I was in New York taking care of an elderly relative, and whenever I get a chance, I would get out and go to one of the venues. So I performed all over small, medium-sized venues, and Detroit has a very exuberant and very, very tough market, actually. So if you can make it in Detroit, you can make it anywhere. So my experience has been pretty broad and looking to expand even more.
There you go, because you know what? Something I've noticed, and there are a lot of spoken word venues that are opening here in Detroit. And so, I'm familiar with the spoken word. Matter of fact, the young lady that's lives next door to me, she was a part of our comedy show. And matter of fact, she opened up for us, and she's into the spoken word. And it just amazes me how you can sit back and we've put the beats now, poetry, and we've almost created a brand new revolution to the way poetry traditionally was said by the storytellers. And do you find that do you get a lot of respect from the older storytellers?
Well, poetry is thousands of years old. Hip-hop, rap is thousands of years old. It goes back to the ancient griots that would tell their history through spoken word or rhyming or poetry, as you say. Technically, there's a slight difference, but poetry is still the foundation of all music. The difference between a straight-out spoken word artist and a full-blown song is that a full-blown song will typically have a hook in it. And some of my future releases are going to have hooks in them where you say a specific word a repeated number of times. I might say, for example, I love you, And if I repeat that 2 or 3 times in the song, that becomes a song, more so of a traditional song or modern song, with a hook in it that's memorized and begin to associate with that song. But there's still the spoken word. There's still the art of connecting your words or just talking the spoken word. And that is the foundation. And it really has to come back to that inspiration and that foundation. And you never lose that part. Def Jam poetry, that is, has featured some of the greatest known music artists who actually came out and spoke their poetry. So I'm a poet. I'm a hip-hop artist. I am all of that, and that's my foundation. I wouldn't shake it or leave it behind working, for anything.
There you go. Hold on for 1 second if you can. Let me bring in right now another friend of mine, Page One. Page One is the president and CEO of Hidden Lick Film. Page One, welcome to the show. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, and yourself?
Good, good. Come on, give us a little bio on yourself, man. What made you get off into the industry, and tell us what you've been doing.
Well, I first started Hidden Lick Records in 1998, still do the music side. As an independent artist, you know, you need as much exposure as you need, so that's why I started Hidden Lick Films, because, you know, taking after Ice Cube, Master P, and the rest of the guys. But like I say, you know, just like some of the other brothers said earlier, you know, I've been around music my whole life, and you know, it's just something that I love. So I would always do music, even if I never put out another record. I would still record personally. But it's just the art. I just love being around entertainment, period. And like when you were speaking with the one brother from California about the film industry, you know, I went to school for film and video. And yes, there are tons of positions, you know, besides being the actual talent, is which they call, you know, the actors or whatever. So it's just great to be around.
But, you know, just like I tell people, you know, I started in entertainment, I think I was like 5 or 6 years old. Back when the Jakson 5 first came out, I was doing the same thing. I started out singing, and I went from singing to playing the drums. I went from playing the drums to playing keyboards. Next thing I did, I started dibbling and dabbling with guitars, and then I started writing. Next thing I knew, I moved out of that, started doing a little acting and doing some plays. You know, so all my life I've been like into entertainment, and I tell people, because you're a young man, Sulaiman The WordSmith, another young man, Bill and myself, we young men too. We're young men too. And so, you know, I mean, I tell young people that if you have the dream, if you have the ambition and you have that desire, never give up on it, because you never know when the opportunity is going to knock. Now, do you have anything in the stores, or how are you promoting your music?
Well, right now, it's available on online. 2 albums is available online. My first solo album, True Hood Stories, at cdbaby.com, and my former R&B artist, he died of leukemia back in 2003. His album's at cdbaby.com, which I co-wrote most of the songs on his album.
Wow, because you graduated from what? Spec Howard? You graduated from Spec Howard's, right?
Yes.
Yes. Because I'm familiar with Spec Howard's. I was even thinking about going to Spec Howard's at one time, and I just didn't follow up on it because I was already out there. And something that I found, and I'm going to ask all three of you this, because all three of your mics are open right now, and each of you can take a turn at this. You know, something I found, because I started out, like I said, I was playing with a professional band when I was like 15. And I was playing with Pure Imagination, and we sat back, and, I mean, we were good, real good. We put in long hours. We worked outside of being in the band. And so I found myself after a while, even though I'm still passionate about it, still have my keyboard, still pick up and play, people still ask me now, why don't you come and do something? I got burnt out because I started entertaining so young, and I grew up so fast, and I was on the road so much at a young age. Do you see, and I'm going to start with Bill. Bill, do you see a lot of child actors that grow up? Is that why so many of them burn out and self-destruct?
Well, you know, what I see with that, my honest view, that a lot of them don't burn out. It's just they get caught up in the crowd. They get caught up in a wrong crowd because Hollywood got a way of turning an innocent person into a villain, and I've seen this with my own eyes, and they just get caught up in their growth, and because they're trying to grow out of the childhood. Everybody knew them for the childhood, so they're trying to switch over into the adulthood to get the adult crowd, and some of them they go about it the wrong way. And I don't see entertainer. It's like when you're in the entertainment, and I know, like you were saying, the passion be so strong that you can grow to be an old person doing it as long as you're in the game. It depends on your what level you on. Because some people might lose their dreams of pursuing, but if you continue and you believe in yourself, one day it's just going to happen regardless. I've seen people overnight go from just nowhere to stay and then get their big deal. I know a guy, he good friend of mine, and he tells a story too. Elijah Kelly. He happened to be in Hairspray, but he actually came to California just in the car. He drove to California. He didn't have nowhere to live. He lived out of his car. And he pursued his career, and next you know, he got picked up for Hairspray, and now he in all type of movies. He ended up playing Joker on Red Tail, and now he got other films. So, like from when you're a childhood, and the good thing about it, he actually played in a feature. He featured in a couple films when he was young. So they don't really blow. They don't get exhausted. It depends on who you are and the level you are. That's what I see from my view.
Okay. And come on in here, Sulaiman.
Well, my take on that is that in entertainment, there's two sides of entertainment. I got a siren in my background, so it's going to play a little bit louder. But back to what I was saying, there's two sides of entertainment. One is the talent in which you hone in and you develop. The other side is the business side, which helps you to develop your talent and to develop a business model. I have seen people who, instead of dealing with that business side, they would rather pick up the weed and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a natural herb if you use it for medical reasons, but I've seen people who use it for personal enjoyment and other things. And in the music industry, the entertainment itself, it will suck up all your resources and ask for more. And the only way you can learn how to effectively use your time and your resources is to educate yourself. Educate yourself on what is the responsibility of a management team. What is your relationship supposed to be like? How are the gears supposed to work? Educate yourself on what it means to actually sign up with the royalty distribution agencies. Know what to look for when you're going into venues who you depend upon that royalty or whatever the distribution is going to be. And you have to learn about those things. And it's one thing to actually learn about it. And the other thing is that in any business, especially in the music industry, whether you're the brother who is also just like me, you're doing a distribution through CD Baby. Just because you said, okay, distribute through iTunes, Amazon, iHeart, does not mean that that's the end of the road. You have to then, as a business person, go back to those outlets and check on those stores, those outlets, and make sure that your brand is present in those locations and that it is there the way you expect it to reasonably be according to your agreement with your distribution. That's an example of how you have to effectively use your time. And even in doing that, there's going to be more and more learning. I just learned some stuff today, kind of like one of those tug-of-war situations, but I just kind of have to chalk it up to an educational experience and learning and being patient and knowing when to take the next step. So there's talent. Anybody and everybody has talent. You have to take time to practice, as you were talking about, your piano and your comedy and things like that. Take time to develop those things. And then sometimes there's time to step away from the microphone and open up a book and say, okay, this is where this part is supposed to go. And then go out and execute and look back and make sure that it fits the way you believe it should and the way it's getting results to benefit you.
There you go.
I totally agree.
Page one, come on in. Same question.
Well, I think, if someone is burnt out in the entertainment business, it's because maybe of the business side or or most of the things that comes along with being entertainment, like paparazzi, etc. But for those who love what they do, like the saying goes, it's not a job when you love it for real, So, but just like Brother said, whatever you do, you must study your craft. You know what I'm saying, to make sure that you get the most out of it. But yeah, it's you burnt out. I don't think you really loved it. In my book,
well,
for real.
You know what? Now, here's the funny part. Here's the funny part about that. Now, like I said, remember, now I'm out here on a professional circuit at 15. Yeah. And back then, I mean, it was like I'm in the smoke-filled venues. I'm getting introduced and exposed to women. I'm getting exposed to drugs. I'm getting exposed to the alcohol. And I started sitting back, and like I said, I actually had a teacher that traveled with me because I was going to graduate. I knew I would graduate at 16, but for that last year, I actually had a teacher that was there. So I'm still trying to go to school. I'm still getting that knowledge, and I dropped off. I didn't drop off by choice, though, I don't think. I didn't drop off because of the love. I lost the love and passion for it, because I still did some stuff after I came out the band. But I think what destroyed us, and here's something that really kind of broke up our group. We had a chance. We performed with Chapter 8. Before Chapter 8, and Anita Baker was Anita Baker. And we were playing in a show against them. And it was right here in Detroit. It used to be a place on Livernois called the Black Orchid, which was on Livernois and Linden. And we were playing jazz because we were like a progressive jazz band. Well, we lost to them, yet they came up, and everybody was saying, you guys should have won it. Y'all were the best. But we won because we were playing what was popular. And it was cool because Anita Baker was just about to go into the studio. She was just about to do her thing, and she invited us to be the band. The next day, these guys just decided they were up and getting ready to go off into different venues. And, I mean, these were some heck of some players. And everybody kind of just disbanded the group because we were so blown away over this defeat that we knew we had won. And so, like I said, after that, I sat back. I've got a rap album. I was at the Rappers Ball as an older guy. Still played jazz with independent sets and stuff like that. But I just burnt out, and I ended up, what I did is I went on to the business side because I love music so much. But I found my niche was more into business because I also had some businesses that I had started developing, and they had started blossoming. And I sat back and said, you know what? I'd rather produce, go get the deal, and I found that to be my real passion in the music industry, even film today, because I'm going to work with you, Bill, and Sulaiman, because I'm getting ready to do a documentary. And so each and every one of you, I need you two for the music, for the spoken word, and then, Bill, I'm going to get you to do some consulting, man, because this is like a new venue for me to put this documentary together. Come on back in here, Bill.
Sound great. I mean, documentaries is really powerful. One of my good friends of mine, LaMelle Plummer, I actually had the privilege of being involved for a short time on the Preachers of L.A. show. They call it a reality, but it was really started off as a docu-series, and they actually was documenting the guys and bringing a series to it. But yeah, when it comes to documentary, it's really a powerful educational tool for film, and it kind of exposes that person in to educate people about the history of certain things. And I believe, Les, if you do it with the history you have, I think it can be real good. I could see a storyline how you can actually orchestrate it, because I see, when you from your history, what you're seeing and where you at now, I mean, it's a big story. It's just all about a story producer coming in and actually constructing that story. They'd be very interested. And the guy from Hitting Hidden Films. I think it's Hidden Lit Film?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, like guys like that, you know, I can connect them with, you know, I'm already there with Master P and them. And you might be in a position where Master P might need, because he's in the construction stage of rebuilding the No Limit society now. And I'm dealing heavily with Silk and his, because he's doing his thing too, even though they still the same company, still brothers, still, you know, they doing their thing, but it's a lot of merging. It's just all about connecting the dots and making things happen. I would tell people who are, you know, everyone that's listening, if you're into entertainment or music, just start networking. Come out the box. Go meet some people. Go to Atlanta. It's a big networking place called event called Get Connected. It have all of Black Hollywood there, and I mean it happens. I think it's every third Thursday of a month. And just go network there because, you know, Detroit close by there. Come to California, you know, start hanging out in North Hollywood, Studio City, Van Nuys, you know, you start hanging out there. I mean, people be around everywhere. You know, you want to go exercise, go to, you know, the Runyon Canyon, you know, go jog up the mountain. You're going to see everybody. Just network. Just connect the dots. If you're looking to act, don't settle for just movies. You got commercials. I know a girl right now make $4,000 just to come appear in a small second of a commercial. She make $4,000 just to be seen only in probably like 2 seconds. So it's so much that can be done. You just have to have the passion. And I like what the other gentleman said about education, because I stay in the books. I always learn the craft. I stay trying to learn, you know, stay ahead of the game, because it's a forever learning in this industry, and you got to know what's coming up next and how to position yourself. So, you know, Les, I think that would be a great thing to actually put your
document. Thanks a lot, you know, because like I say, now I'm more or less into the business. I do a lot of freelance photography. I do a lot of landscape, a lot of stuff that you see. You see stuff by me, and you probably won't even know it's me because you don't really notice the name. Because I use some ghostwriter names and things like that. But I've got so many peas in the pot. And I tell people, that's one thing that I've noticed. I've never put my eggs in one basket. And it's been very successful so far. Like I say, it keeps me busy. I'm always ripping and running. It puts food on the table, takes care of my bills, and so I love it. I love it. It's just such a wide area, and I tell people, see, one thing I found out about most people in music is we have this thought pattern where we're just thinking all the time of different stuff, different ways to make our art better and to make our craft better. And so, I mean, a lot of times I watch a lot of people, and I know a lot of people in the industry. And so I have more fun, I think, helping people get in the industry. Let me ask you this, Bill, while I have you on the phone, because you may be able to answer this question. What's the best way for a person to break in as an agent?
Well, if you're looking to be an agent now, you know, out here in California, you know, you got to have a $50,000 bond to be a talent agent. But if you come, that's for the agency. But if you come under, like, let's say, you go to, you know, you look up a couple talent agencies and you just put your resume in, or you just connect. Like I said, if you come out here, it's all about you meeting people. Go to the Polo Club. The talent agents love the Polo Club. And if you go there, you just rub elbows and they probably can get you in. You know, it's about who you know out here. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's about connecting. A lot of times out in California, this is how deals go down. You got to be in. You got to play. If you play, you work at the same time. You go to the clubs. Make sure you know you end up meeting people you need to meet. You have fun and you come out with a deal. That's exactly how it goes. I mean, I've been in that position a couple times. Actually, I met the owner of True Hollywood. So it's one of the premier Hollywood venues out here. If you go to truehollywood.com, truhollywood.com, the owner giving me and my partners a night called Discovery Night. We're going to do it every Tuesday night starting December 17th. What we're doing is we're basically allowing new artists up and coming who come to California or they here in California that actually perform in front of celebrities, because this club stays star-studded all the time. So basically they're giving us that night. But I met this guy through just having fun at just hanging out. So it's stuff going on like this all the time, and if you want to be an agent, I think, you know, coming up to Cali would be good. Or if you want to do it in Detroit, you need to find out the laws of actually, you know, putting your own talent agencies there. And then from there, you know, just start basically compiling quite a few people that can help you out, that can help, you know, find good talents and start shopping your talents to different, whether it's in the music or whatever you want to shop them to. You know, I think that would be a good thing, especially if you're a person that like to connect the dots.
There you go. Because that's one thing that I have no problem with. And, you know, it's just like people gravitate to me. And I tell people that all the time. I guess that's why I do what I do now. And as well as the other ventures that I'm into, because I was just made director of Hug One, the Hug One organization, which is the humanitarian united group. And I am also on the board of directors and the Northwest director of Win Global holding firm. So, I mean, it's a lot of peas and a lot of pots, and I rub elbows with a lot of different people, and you're absolutely right. You know, you're definitely right, and I don't want to be an agent, you know, because we hear this thing, and, you know, they say agents are shady dealers. They say that we're, you know, and I guess that comes from our business background.
Well, you know what? Honestly, like, I mean, the agents I know, they so busy working, they don't have to be shady. They just make sure that you work and they get their percentage, you know. And that's what it's about here. Now, in Michigan, I found that a lot of people charge you up front to do agents, you know. And then, you know, then they represent you. Now, that's not the way it really supposed to go. You're supposed to be able to, you know, sign the person up and find them jobs, and that's how you make money when they make money.
There you go. That's the way. Go ahead.
I heard a story. I don't mean to cut you off, Les, but I read a story, actually, and that was a couple of years ago. The county prosecutor in Los Angeles decided to clean up Hollywood. And what he meant by that was that he was going to knock on the doors of fee-based agencies, and he was going to put them out of business. And he did. And the reason why he did that was because these fee-based agencies were charging people exorbitant amounts of money and not giving them any work whatsoever. And we have that here in Michigan. I've seen some instances of when that happened, especially when we have the film incentive real big. They don't have that in New York. They don't have that problem, at least, because they will run you up out of there. But my question is, what was it like being in California when that crunch was actually coming down from the government?
Well, you know, basically, you know, a lot of companies like CAA, William Morris, they didn't have that problem because they got the studios in their pocket, and what they don't charge people. They just got their percentage of what they make off their clients, and none of them really having problems because they're still in the business. They're still at the same agency. I mean, people I know, I can't contest with a lot of other people who, you know, who haven't, but it's kind of hard to act. This was like working for, back in the days, you know, you work for GM, Ford, you have to really get vouched in or find a way in. It's like that with the big three up here, big four up here. ICM, William Morris, and you just can't just get in and be an agent. So they kind of stay busy up here. You know, I know some smaller ones. They stay busy too because they got a lot of the C actors, B actors. You just got to know your game and who you want to target, and who you want to represent, and how you want to represent, and that's how you win here. And Michigan, you could definitely win because you have a vast amount of talent there. If you put an agency, you just got to find out the laws for agency, open up an agency there. But if you put an agency there, I mean, all you got to do is just kind of put your brand together of your company and let it stick out and kind of like shop your agency to a lot of the production companies, directors, casting directors, California, Atlanta, you know, and then let them know that you have a roster of talent, and they will come to you. And just to see who you got. You could be an extra, and you could be you could specialize in extras. You could specialize in C actors, B actors. You just got to know what you want to do, and you have to stick in that lane and make it work. And Michigan is wide open for it. But you know what happened is a lot of people charge people up front, so you'll be the only person really I mean, it's probably got another one, but I heard they wasn't doing as well as they could. But if you connect the dots, if you're good at connecting the dots, it's all about the network. That's it.
Right. Because you know what? I tell you, on my Twitter account under Boss Conductor, anybody that connects with that, man, you will be connected with a bunch of people that are in the industry, and they just, like I said, I know a lot of people in the industry. I come from a history of musicians in the family, and my brother. Matter of fact, if you're ever down in Atlanta, go to U-Space Gallery. You can also go to uspacegallery.com. Drop Terrence E. Jakson a line. Very prominent down in Atlanta. He sits back and he can get you into a venue. Plus, he gives a venue every month, I think, if not every other week, where he has a lot of talent coming from New York, Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, and he puts them out there. Just was awarded a grant to do so. So he's helping promote artists that are trying to get out there and get into the industry. So I would tell you, if you have to, drop him a line and just tell him you know Les. Tell him you know his brother. And he'll sit back and he'll work with you, man, because he's down to earth. He's one of the leading opera buffs in the world.
Wow.
Who would have thought that a black man could actually have people that grew up in Italy and in all over the world where they have some of the major opera houses come to Atlanta so that he can interpret the opera in its proper perspective.
It's powerful.
You know, I mean, it's just amazing. It amazes me at how many of us as brothers and sisters are on the move right now.
Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about that, Sulaiman. Right after I take this quick break, let me put this Randy Scott in here because I want to throw his song on there real quick. This is 90 Degrees at Midnight, the radio single. that was Randy Scott. That was 90 Degrees at Midnight, the recorded single there by Randy Scott. Let me bring everybody back in here. Let's talk for just one quick second, because there is, and I want people to understand, there can be a dark side to the industry. And I know, Sulaiman, you know, because when we talked on over the internet earlier, and you were asking me, well, we're going to hit on all those different areas, and I want to hit on that area for just a couple of minutes. Starting with you, Sulaiman, what dark sides have you seen in the industry?
Well, when you get to the broadcasting level and you start to look at the statistic reporting, we're talking about royalty reporting, it becomes apparent that there are people who, when it comes to reporting for royalties, they fail to do so. Whatever the reason might be, it might be they fell asleep when it was time to press the button to write your name down, or they just weren't going to do it. There could be many different reasons. Case in point, a case that's still going on right now, and I'm not going to say the name of the broadcaster. One of the very first broadcasters to play the song that we played, I sent them an email with the track. A couple weeks later, they replied, "We're going to play it in 90 minutes." I was very happy. That just made my day. And they said, hey, you know, go tell everybody on your social network that you're going to be played on the radio. So I went and told my family, my friends, everybody. And my day was beautiful. A couple weeks later, I revisited that broadcaster's website to see if they were rotating me. And that means that they're playing me repeatedly. And so I looked at the playlist, no mention of any artist for the particular day that I was played. So there was nothing reported for that day. And so, well, and for those that don't know, a lot of radio stations have what they call a playlist or a public file sometimes where they show who was played. So there's a whole day missing. Now, I contact the broadcaster, and the guy says, hey, I'm out of the country right now. When I get back in, I'll take a look at it. And so that has yet to be resolved. But then I said, you know, what if this is happening on a bigger scale? So I contact Sound Exchange that handles royalties for digital streaming. And I said, hey, look, this is a potential problem. What do you have in the pipeline for me? Are you showing any reporting? They're saying, no, nothing yet. Well, okay, I have to wait to the end of the quarter. But at the same time, they're saying that they're not going to do anything until the end of the quarter or maybe 9 months later. So an artist can wait almost a year for a royalty. And we're not talking about a lot of money. We're talking about a digital stream that's 0.0022 per spin for digital streaming. So I asked them if they would do some sampling. And I'm not going to, you know, talk down on a particular performance rights organization because it's still, you know, evolving. But they didn't do what I wanted them to do. So I'm looking at the potential dark side of it. But I'm still hopeful that this will get resolved. And this is just one microscopic example of where it could be, okay, the guy owns this radio station and he's out of the country. The DJ that he hired, maybe they fell asleep, maybe they just named it. I don't know. Maybe there's a technical problem. I don't know. But compare this microscopic possible defect to a larger scale to, you know, organizations or artists like The Temptations or TLC that went bankrupt because they weren't getting what they expected. So there's a dark side of it. And the dark side becomes even more complex when you have an artist who is new to the game and may not have much education or access to advice. What can I expect? What is the law? What actually happens in the industry? What are the goods and the bad? So that's an example of the dark side, and I hope it doesn't get any darker. I hope it does get resolved. I'm hopeful that it will. And I'm diligent that I'll be able to catch it before it happens on a larger scale. So that's an example of the dark side.
And Bill, come on.
Well, it depends on what part of the dark side you want me to talk about. The party dark side, or you want me to talk about the distribution and movie side of the dark side?
Let's talk about the distribution and movie side because I know that can be hectic too.
Yeah. Okay. What I advise, like when it comes to distribution, you have a movie, you have a finished film. You just gotta know. You have to have an attorney. You have to really have a good attorney that understands the entertainment business. Because what happens is a lot of people get happy, and they got a full length film, and then they just get at they go after the whatever distributor they think will put their movie in stores. And what happens from there, if you go with the wrong person, they give you a good deal, sound real good, no money up front, and then next you know they promise you 50-50, and then they put your movie out in different marketplaces like Walmart, Redbox, and then what happens from there, you're supposed to, when the quarter comes, they show you, like first of all they get you with a certain amount of money that you have to. They say they put in $50,000 up to $100,000 for marketing fee, distribution fee. They have so many different fees that they actually say that they have to get back before you start making a profit. And what happens is, it can go for a couple years, or they'll just drain. They get as much money, they make as much money as they can for the first 2 runs, and then after that, basically you won't see nothing. So that's the dark side of when it comes to doing distribution. But what I advise a lot of my clients is, first of all, you want to make sure you do your homework on different distributors and see who been paying who. Because they are some, I say that they're good, quite a few that's good, and they pay royalties. And then if you got a good movie, I advise you just get your advancement up front so you don't feel like you took a loss in the end if something happened. But with me, I know a lot of distributors, and Bob's been in a great relationship. They don't mess with me. So that's why I can get a lot of my clients distribution deals, and they can start seeing their funds because I got a relationship with the distributors. So the closer you are with them, they don't mess with you. But if you don't know them, the dark side is you might not see no money. But what I would advise people is to start building their own client, build a following, get it where you got thousands of people following you, and once they see that, they don't want to take a chance of losing you. So they'll give you a better deal. So that's what I would advise people that they make movies and then you deal with distributors.
And that's good advice right there. Something that I hear a lot of entertainers on all aspects, and they get these managers, even sports figures. They get these managers, and like you say, they don't have good attorneys, I guess. I don't know what their attorneys look at some of the time, but they sign these deals, and they get these entourages, and they go out because, here it is, it's the first deal. They throw you this money, they might throw you a little bonus for signing, and the next thing you know, you didn't read the little clause that said, but now every time you go get a limo and it's something that we do for you, it's a deduction. Every time you fly in a private jet, it's a deduction. Every time that you sit back and you have your entourage and we have to pay for all of them, it's a deduction. How do we not see that as artists? And it's been going on for so long. We hear these horror stories, and it seems like year after year, almost, I'll say this, month after month, you hear of another actress, actor, singer, boxer, basketball player that goes bankrupt. One of you want to tackle that one?
I'll go. I'll take a look at it. It comes down to the basic principles, education and talent. And there are so many people out there who, who start off with just the talent, but don't get exposed or don't take the time out to say, hey, this is also a business. I need to have a business model. I need to have good advice. I need to educate myself on what are the pros and the cons. One of the stories that really kind of hurt me, Charlie Wilson, formerly of the Gap Band. You're talking about guys that sold millions of records, but yet Charlie, in his own interview, and I would not have believed this if I had not heard him say this, he wound up homeless for 15 years. he said that it was as a result of him trusting a executive that did them wrong. But he also said one thing that was very, kind of let me know that there's a lot more to it. He said that there were drugs involved. So this is another example where, okay, you get all the talent. You're very polished in what you do in front of the camera on the microphone, but yet you go off in the wrong direction. And there are people in the industry that will take your publishing and everything else that they can get out of it, and you won't see a dime unless you are paying attention. And as the brother said, you develop a relationship with certain entities and let them know that you are watching every dime. You're going to be looking at every picture, every audio bite, everything. You have to look at those things. And once you are proficient at those things, then you can, hire other people or delegate authority to other people, but then you have to check up on them. So you have to know what to look for. And I'm at, basically at the beginning stages, but I'm already seeing certain things, and I'm already checking those things, letting people know that, hey, look, I'm not just a talent. I know what to look for. And if I don't know, I know where to go and find somebody that does know where to look for. So it's really, to me, it goes back to education and talent. And that's the bottom line. You have to have both. You cannot just be the talent. And if you're the business side, you have to know what it's supposed to be doing. You have to know how to educate the talent on what to check up on from the business side. So it goes both ways. It has to be a well-geared, well-greased gear, and that's the relationship I have with my manager. We talk every day. Sometimes I wonder, why we're not living in the same house. And we have that type of relationship, and he checks on things, I check on things, and it's a daily grind. You have to stay on your grind, and you have to stay focused.
That's right. And I second that too, this Bill. I second that too. He right. It's education is very key. You have to know what you're doing and how to go about doing it. Like you say, you just can't be the talent only because you're a brand. Your talent is a brand anyway, and you have to cherish that brand, and you have to guard that brand even when you put your team together. Sometimes you got to do a lot of interviewing. Like even in the movie business, like with distributors, there are a ton of distributors. And see, the thing is, when you know you have a good product, you don't have to settle for one distributor because they're giving you the green light. I know a lot of newcomers, they come in, they get so excited because they all they can see is they movie in Redbox or Walmart or Netflix. I mean, it's all good, but it's a deal. Now, I also tell people sometimes your first film, and I do tell people this, sometimes your first film you want to just get in the door so you can create a value system for yourself. So sometimes you might take a deal that's not so well, but I wouldn't put a lot of motion behind your first one. But when you start getting involved and you make a name, now you can start demanding it more, and you can start, basically standing up for yourself and say, well, okay, I hear this deal, and you just get a good attorney that knows exactly the business. Because sometimes people will get an entertainment attorney that might be specialized in music, but you in the movie game. So they don't really know all the terminology for the music, and they'll look at certain things, oh, okay, yeah, it look good. But they will miss it too, and then next you know you got stuck with a situation because your attorney didn't look at it as well. So you just got to make sure you find the right team, put the right team together, and just basically watch your team and do your thing.
And you know what, something else I want to warn people about. And you know what? Beware of friends and family. Don't be so quick to put them on your team just out of sentimental value and emotional ties, because that has been one of the biggest mistakes, too, that I think a lot of artists make, is trying to put people in that really aren't qualified or educated enough, as we said, to really handle the position that a lot of times we place them in. Would you gentlemen agree with that?
I agree totally.
Definitely. I would definitely agree. The old thing in the industry is that you have to see the product that other people have done, your product. If they've made a product and they've gone through the routes of distribution and promoting, then they've got something to show. Whether it's family or anybody else, you have to you have to make sure that they are capable of doing their job. And there can be times in the music or entertainment industry, period, all of theater, where it might be a 24/7 grind. You might be getting calls middle of the night saying, hey, we need to look at this thing first thing in the morning. So don't just go and trust your best friend, your family member. Trust people who have education and experience to take your brand where you want it to go. And I have another question after the brother.
Okay. Yeah, I can share her story with everyone right now about that very topic. For my R&B artist, I was getting ready to give an album release party. I gave some flyers to pass out, go pass out, and he was like, give me more. So I gave him 500, and he ain't passed out one.
So didn't one get passed out?
Not one.
I've had that happen. I have had that happen myself. That's why I laugh about that, because the person swore to me, man, yeah, I put him out. And what the person didn't know is that I had rode behind him because I had geographically put, gave him certain spots I wanted him to take him to. I went right behind him and checked. Come to find out, man, he had threw him in the dumpster. But he got paid. He got paid, and he wanted to be paid more, but I said, never again. Never again will that happen.
Right.
And somebody had a question they wanted to ask.
Yeah, my question to Brother Jakson, the film industry brother, is how can we more effectively use technology to track our products? I'm working on a book. It's actually done. I'm looking at distribution right now. It's called The Art and Science of Digital Music Distribution. In this book, I talk about the ISRC, International Sound Recording Code. And then I get into music databases that scan radio stations for activity, Shazam, Jails, Mediabase, Nielsen, BDS, etc. And I'm always looking to learn more. So I want to hear from other people, how can we more effectively use technology to track our product as it goes to distribution to the market and into people's eyes and ears?
Well, now, are you talking about basically effectively marketing to draw the people to more of the technology, or are you just talking about tracking your sales through technology? Because a lot of times with the technology, it's kind of like recorded. It's kind of easy because you have a back office and you can kind of see the hits and everything. So it's kind of like basically recorded. You can't really get over and when it comes to digital. But if you're talking about drawing people there, that's another that's another beast, which is really a good one. It's good to know because I know I help people get a lot of digital hits and a lot of I know that game. I know SEO guys and people who can actually draw people to you through your website. So I mean, it's just expensive,
Right. Because I know just like now right now I'm running, I think it's 10 Facebook pages. I run 3 Twitters. I run 3 LinkedIns. I run Stumble Upon, Tumble, Get Glued, Google Plus, and then I found out on the back end I could go in with each one of them and I could set forth a budget that I was willing to pay every month, and they will market it for me, and they guarantee that it'll come up so many times, but what they can't guarantee me is that people will actually buy the product. So since they couldn't guarantee me that, I sat back and said, well, you know what? I can get out there and I can do pretty much the same thing myself. The only thing that I couldn't do is maybe put it out there as many times as they would put it there. And so I have found that that's the best way for a person that's really working on a real low budget. Unless you want to get off into spending a lot of money, and putting a lot of money into the technological side of it. But the best thing to do is just get on as many of these different medias that you can get involved in. You know, we do the blogger because I'm writing a book. Like I say, I'm a pastor. So, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I'm doing, a lot of writing all the time. And then I have other people that write for me and do stuff for me. So they keep everything kind of in order. And having that team that can get out there and put that publicity out there for me.
Yes.
Because that's really the whole key.
That is.
Well, let me ask you this. How can we use technology to effectively kill the dark side of the entertainment industry? And let me give you an example. In a music song and in a video, there is the ISRC, the National Sound Recording Code, which is becoming more and more popular as a means of tracking royalties and actually scanning, broadcasters to see if they are actually, displaying the song or the video. But that technology is still on the grassroots. It's not there on the grassroots level yet. It's not there in the education yet. Even the radio stations are still going by the artist's name. And that's what gets sent over to the royalty collecting societies, your ASCAP, your BMI, your CSAC, your Sound Exchange, etc. So there's the potential for, the problem I was having, where somebody might play a song or they might play a trailer to a video, and they are supposed to report that play, but they don't. And I'm seeing this piracy becoming more and more popular. It's actually embeddable inside of a video, and there's actually something more so. This one really kind of hit me a couple of days ago. It's called encoding or audio encoding, where they put a bio code inside of the song, and it's some type of code that you cannot hear with the human eye, with the human ear, that is, but yet a machine can hear it. Just kind of like the way an ant hears a low-frequency sound, but our human ears cannot. So I'm hearing about this technology, and I'm saying, this is something that is there, but it's not there. The dots are not connected on the grassroots level. So I'm just kind of tossing out there saying, how can we more effectively use these technologies to actually make sure that we know where our product is being displayed? Maybe if it's being actually sold, we could use some type of technology. How can we actually come together or educate ourselves more about it? How can we do this? How can we use technology more effectively?
Through brothers like yourself that have the knowledge and spreading it around so that we can force those that are in the industries to sit back and be more responsible. And that's pretty much the best way. I know, just like when I was sitting back, and I can remember Mojo was going to play one of my friends that we worked with, his record. And he guaranteed us, it'll be on so many times, blah, 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 and you just give us this. And what I did is, at that time, they didn't even have the technology, but I had what I call bird dogs. I had people that were just out there literally listening to a show and checking it off. Now we don't have to do that. Now I have a back office, just like here with Blog Talk. I can go into the back office and I'll see how many people have listened, how many people listen in the archives, how many people, what is happening, and I'm able to chart it off because it charts itself. So I make sure that it stays, or I try to make sure it stays within a certain limit and within a certain boundary that's consistent month after month. Some months it's up, some months it's down. But, for the most part, we just have to get out there and we have to start really demanding that they use the technology for the right way. And the only way we're going to do that is to effectively educate other artists and musicians and actresses and actors that this technology is out there. So your book is the first step to actually getting a better on back in here, Bill.
Yeah, and one thing, until, that we get really tech savvy, like even in the movie business, what I did to make distributors kind of respect me, they didn't know what kind of reach I had. So what I did is I know that Walmart put at least about 10, 12 DVDs on their showcase in all the regions that they're going to put it out at. So the regions that they put it out, I formed a relationship with people across this country. That actually, when Bless and Curse, the movie Bless and Curse came out, I was behind the distribution sales of Bless and Curse movie. So that night they put out they ordered 12,000 copies. That night across the country, I had people from different cities, from Texas, Atlanta, everywhere, going to buy the movie. And then I had somebody go look and see how many left. And then what happened is when they got through doing that, and it's another movie I did for another lady in Detroit, Till Death Do Us Apart, I actually had people tracking how many DVDs left. And when I went back to the distributor, I asked them how many got sold. Now, Bless the Curse sold out at midnight. And then they had to actually order 20,000 more copies because it sold out too quick. The other young lady, they sold out, they did a good job in 1 week. But I went back to the distributor and said, so tell me, how many did y'all sell? And then basically they tried to give me a certain count. But I said, okay, well, yes, I wanted to know we only got, I know it's 3 DVDs here. I know it's, and I gave them a count of all that. And when I did that, I gave them the information. They never messed with me again. They was always truthful. And what I'm saying is what we have to do when we sell products. First thing I will tell everyone is to create your own lead generating system so you can collect emails and numbers, because that's going to be, if you can collect 100,000 to 1 million, you're going to be a valuable person. When it comes to everybody going to be chasing you, giving you money, because you have a lead generation. Because if people give you, like, let's just say you put a website together and all you're doing is marketing about, hey, buy faith-based films, and people they sign up to find out what next movie coming out. See, people are going to sign up just because they want to know what movie coming out. So got a collective of emails and a collective of phone numbers, and when these movies come out, you have your own distribution center that you don't need, that you don't necessarily have to have the majors or anybody distribute it for. You can print them up yourself and actually send them out to your clients. And when you come to sit down at the table with distributors and you tell them what you have access to, they will give you a better deal. So I would tell everybody to start collecting their own distribution, because right now the industry is so jacked up. You have to protect your cash, and you have to protect your brand, and you got to let them know that you know what they're doing, that you know what you're doing, and then they will respect you better.
Wow. And I agree. I totally agree with that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the best way to do it, and I mean that has worked for years. I can remember when I used to distribute the cassettes for one of the record companies. And that's what I would have to do. That's what after I put them into a store, I made sure that I had somebody, if not myself, going back in and counting them tapes, because it was up to me to collect the money on them tapes. And if I didn't collect the right amount for the amount of tapes that were there and what I left, that money came out of my pocket. So I learned real quick, if I plan on getting paid in this industry, I've got to be on top of all my P's and Q's, and it's better for me to have somebody go in, because I know, just like this one company, and something that I didn't do, and I'm glad I didn't. So many of these publishing companies now, they want you to sit back and to actually pay them. And they tell you, okay, we're going to put 20 books here, we're going to put 20 books there, we're going to put 20 there, and, but you're paying on this outlandish amount in the first place when, like you said, Bill, I can build up my own lead generating list, and I can shoot out bulk, massive emails and get response from people and gather names and numbers, let them know what kind of project I'm working on. And the agent ended up coming to me and saying, hold on, let me give you an advance. The book company, let me give you an advance. You just had a product ready by blah, blah, blah. We'll handle anything else that you need us to handle, and that's the agent I went with. That's the publishing company I went with, because everybody wanted me to pay. And I said, hold on, something ain't right about this. And you said it earlier, Bill, you know, just like having an agent. You shouldn't have to pay your agent up front when this is his job to make sure that you got work.
That's right. And then, you know, and then just like Master P and even Tyler Perry, like Tyler Perry, he did the movies just like Master P did the music. These guys, they built a whole database from off the trunk. And they made, when Lionsgate saw the opportunity of partnering up with Tyler Perry, he was making so much money out of the trunk, they said they had to get him a real good deal because they know that he can make money without them. So they gave him the deal, and that's how he rose. Master P, he did the same thing. He built a database, what I'm saying, and he got out there and he all throughout the nation, he put out his tapes, his mixtapes and stuff like that, collected a database of people, put e-blasters out there, let people know what song coming. They sold so many CDs and tapes that what happened is Sony gave them 80, one of the best deals, 85-15, and they walked away 85. Why the company did 15 when it was really originally the other way around. So they just didn't want him to do it by they didn't want him to make all the money by himself. They had to get their hands in it. And that's the reason why Master P ended up mastering the game without the industry.
Yep. Even Berry Gordy, a lot of people don't realize that's how Berry Gordy started. He was selling records out of a red wagon, selling his recording artists out of a little red wagon. Motown failed about 7 times before he got it right. You know, and it's a remarkable story when you hear him tell it, how he was selling these records, but that's what he did. He made himself, he branded himself. And the more valuable you make yourself, like I say, pretty soon you don't have to, people come to you. People come to you, they want you. Now you become an item, a commodity, a product. You're a product within yourself, you know. And so, hey, I want to thank all of you for coming on the show tonight. Believe it or not, we just about out of time. And we're going to have to do it all over again because it's been fun, man. I'm so glad that you could stay here for the whole 2 hours, Bill. And we're going to be in touch with you. Sulaiman, I'm definitely going to get in touch with you, man. I want to get in touch with you also, Page One, because like I say, I've got something that you might be real interested in, something that I think that you guys are going to like. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank Randy Scott for giving me that 15, 20 minutes because I told him I wasn't going to hold him up because I know he had something to do. I did receive a call from Marsha Ambrosius. Unfortunately, she couldn't be on the show tonight, but she told me she will be on the show in the future. So I will have her on the show in the future. She was doing some work, working on a project, and she had some commitments that she had priorly scheduled, and I kind of got her on short notice. But I will be sitting back and getting back in touch with her, and we're gonna do this thing, man. We might have to have a part 3 next month or something because there's so much that we can talk about, and 2 hours still ain't enough.
Yeah.
So, hey, Page One, come on, give us something to close out with.
I just want to say to all the independent artists out there, you know, especially that's in the hip-hop and rap side, you know, it's so oversaturated. You know, you have to do things to make yourself stand out. You know, you got to be the next innovator. You know, let's say 50 Cent did it with the mixtape, Soulja Boy did it with YouTube. You know, you got to do something else. You got to, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm on the verge of doing. I'm about to start a new label, and
all right,
we about
come
to
on
bring
back
you all
here,
the next
Sulaiman.
version of the crime.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I just want to give I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's pushing the product. Keep up the faith. Keep on the grind. Keep on educating yourself. You're a smooth artist, You're a smooth innovator. And you have to, like the brother Page once said, you have to do something that's going to make you stand out without compromising your integrity. And educate yourself. Polish your product. Keep at your craft. That's the only way you're going to make it.
There you go. I do want to sit back. Come on in here, Bill.
I just want to tell everybody, basically build relationships. Keep it, connect the dots, start, making sure that, relationships you build, you keep. Make sure it's healthy, because in this industry it's all about relationships. Build it across this country, build it across overseas. Know that it's not only about the domestic, it's about the global market too. So find out how you can take your brand across the seas and make the money.
There you go. And you know what? I want to thank Ebony so much for staying up so late. She's over there in the UK. Ebony has a show right here on Blog Talk Radio that comes on at 5 o'clock. I'm going to say Monday through Friday, but you just have to check. I believe it's Ebony Express. I may be wrong, Ebony, but, I'm going to put it in. I'm trying to put that plug in. Put in Ebony Express, and I believe you'll be able to catch her show. Really great show that she has on. I want to thank her so much. I want to thank Randy Scott once again for being here. I want to thank Beasley. Also, I want to thank The Bible Truth by Benny for coming in. And to everybody else that was listening, I want to thank you. If you missed the show in its entirety, you can go back to the archives. I know a lot of people sit back, and they'll sit back and listen to this thing on tomorrow. For all of you that were here tonight, we'll be posting it up on all the different sites and on everything that we have, so that way people can just jump in there and still continue to give you the support. And if you need a report from me, Sulaiman, all you got to do is give me a call, and I'll let you know the show enough truth. I'll keep you posted on what's going on with it, because, like I said, I never know. I can remember I went offline for about a month because I went for an operation. When I came back and finally looked at the report from the last show that I did, it had something like 9,000 and something odd people that were just repeatedly watching it and listening to it. And I didn't know how that was happening. I sat back and said, what happened here? I was gone for a month. Just like 9,000 extra people were sitting there listening. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Hey, y'all be strong. God bless everybody. We only got about 30 seconds. I'm clicking off. I will see everybody tomorrow night. Let me see. Am I coming on tomorrow night? Yep. I'm coming on tomorrow night, and we're going to be sitting back and talking to Latoya Green, I believe, about her new book that she's about to release on next month. In a couple of weeks, she has a book coming out. I'm going to let her tell you all about it. Anyway, God bless everybody. We'll catch you on the dark side of tomorrow. See you later.